The youngest sister was very beautiful. Look, I have the youngest sister in here. She was very beautiful. Get your nose back. She was very beautiful. Here's the younger sister. I had to find some clothes to put on her. There's the youngest sister right there. She was very beautiful, even though she had paper in her hair from the girls' room. Can you hold that one for me? And her name was Rachel. But the oldest sister wasn't very beautiful at all. And some even said she was quite ugly. I have her too. I found this in their toy box, and I think I know who did it. This same one that rode on her legs. So here's the oldest sister, and her name is Leah. What's that one's name? No, this one. Who's the beautiful sister? Rachel. Who's the ugly one? Leah. Yeah, I know. I know. All right, let's read what happened to these sisters. Scoot back. Rachel was the kind of girl who always gets invited to parties and chosen for the team. Everybody loved Rachel. She was so beautiful. But then there was Leah. No one hardly even noticed her. No one wanted to play with her. No one wanted to invite her to the parties. One day, their cousin Jacob came to stay. He was one of Isaac's sons and was on the run. Jacob had stolen and cheated and had made some enemies, including his own brother, and now he was hiding. The funny thing is, Jacob, of all people, was the one God gave this special promise to, the same promise he had given his grandfather Abraham. I will rescue the world through your family. Oh, no, you have to sit down. No, I need Leah. Thank you. I will rescue the world through your family. But then God chooses people we least expect, as we'll see. Jacob stayed a long time working for his uncle Laban. One day Laban said, Jacob, I've decided to pay you for your work. What do you want? A sudden thought struck him. How about one of my daughters? Who do you think Jacob chose? Rachel or Leah? He chose Rachel. Jacob looked at Rachel and he looked at Leah. Who would he choose? Of course he chose Rachel. I'll work 7 years for free, said Jacob, if I can marry Rachel. So Jacob worked 7 years, and at last his wedding day arrived. But that night, Laban played a nasty trick on Jacob. Instead of sending Rachel to marry Jacob, he sent Leah. Now, in those days, they didn't have electricity, so it was too dark to see their faces. So Jacob suspected nothing. The next morning, Jacob woke up and, screamed. His new wife was lying beside him, but it wasn't Rachel. It was Leah. Jacob jumped out of bed. Laban, he cried, you scoundrel. But Laban said, work for me another 7 years, and then you can marry Rachel. So Jacob worked for Laban another 7 years, and at last Rachel became his wife. Now Jacob had 2 wives. But of his 2 wives, Jacob loved Rachel the best. We don't have 2 wives anymore, just 1. But they did back a long time ago. Ask Mr. Luis why, because I don't really understand that. But no one loves me, said Leah. I'm too ugly. But God didn't think she was ugly. And when he saw that Leah was not loved and that nobody wanted her, God chose her to love her specially, to give her a very important job. One day, God was going to rescue the whole world through Leah's family. Now, when Leah knew that God loved her in her heart, suddenly it didn't matter anymore whether her husband loved her the best or if she was the prettiest. Someone had chosen her. Someone did love her with a never-stopping, never giving up, unbreaking, always and forever love. So when Leah had a baby boy, she called him Judah, which means, this time I will praise the Lord. And that's just what she did. And you'll never guess what job God gave Leah. You see, when God looked at Leah, he saw a princess. And sure enough, that's exactly what she became. One of Leah's children's children would be a prince, the Prince of Heaven, God's son. This prince would love God's people. They wouldn't love him with all of his heart. They wouldn't need to be beautiful for him to love them. He would love them with all of his heart, and they would be beautiful because he loved them, like Leah. Next week is the forgiving prince. The end. Hey, so you know what?